Welcome back to another cooking video. I'm Chef Devo and today I'm going to teach you how to make a beautiful plate of sashimi with beautiful presentation and delicious fish. So there's nothing more to be said, let's get straight into it. Let's go. Okay, so you take a block of sushi grade tuna and you just start cutting in slices between 1/2 centimeter and 1 centimeter thick, depending on how tender it is. If it's more tender, make thicker slices. You just want to cut in a single swooping move across the entire block and separate it in one go. Now just put it to one side and then you take your tuna block and you pour over sesame seed oil and then you rub it into the tuna block. What you want to do is cover all the sides of the tuna block so that later the coriander or cilantro leaves will stick to it. Take your time to make sure it's fully covered, and once it's fully covered you want to take some freshly cut but dry coriander or cilantro, depending where you live, and just cover it over the tuna block. If it's not dried before you throw it on, it won't stick to the oil properly. So just keep that in mind. Okay, once you've properly covered your entire block, you just transfer it over to a scalding hot pan. You really want to hear that hissing, searing sound as soon as you drop into the pan. So just, there we go, beautiful. Now, you want to flip it over every 10 to 15 seconds, and you want to sear only 4 sides of the tuna block. So here, just turning it over, just like that. Wait a couple of seconds again, and then we're going to turn it over again. So you really don't want to overcook the tuna. You want to have the inside still raw and sashimi-like. You just want to sear a very thin layer on the outside and the coriander. So just keep turning it over every 10 to 15 seconds. Okay, so once you're done cooking it, place it on a cutting board on one of the raw sides so it has time to cool down and rest. You don't want to have one of the cooked sides against a cutting board and have heat trapped in between the tuna and the cutting board, which will keep cooking your tuna. So now what you do is you take a block of sushi grade salmon and just place it on your cutting board, and you want to cut at a 90-degree angle to the fat line. So place it at 45-degree angle towards you. So you can just drag the knife straight down towards you. Place the knife at a 45-degree angle to the board and just slice through the fish in one motion. Now you do it again and you want to cut thin slices about 1/2 centimeter thick. Alright, if you need to at the end of the slicing motion, you can go in the opposite direction just to make sure that you completely cut the sashimi slice off the salmon block. Now just keep slicing through it. It should be like slicing through butter with a hot knife. If it's not, then you need a sharper knife. So I would recommend that check out my video on how to sharpen knives by clicking on the top left corner of the screen. So now you take your seared tuna block, which has had time to rest, and again just slice it like the first part of the tuna block, just simple slices straight down in a single swooping motion. Now I'm going to need a saw here a little bit because there's very little of the tuna left, so it's going to become more and more difficult and I'm going to have to feel my way through with a knife. But really you want to just do it in a single swooping motion from start to finish. Okay, this last part I'm really going to need a saw here because there's only 2 slices really. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now just move the tuna to one side and I'm just going to clean this right here. It's very important to clean. There we go. So I've prepared a couple things and now I'm going to plate up. I'm just going to spread out some thinly sliced cucumber and then just cut the edges off to make it a little bit neater. Okay, there we go. Now just put this to one side and grab a little bit of shredded carrot. Now I've shredded this with a cheese grater and then I placed it in some water for about half an hour to get a bit more crispy. Take your sliced cucumber and lay it against the carrot, like so. There we go. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my salmon slices and lay them across the board, overlapping each other just slightly in a straight line. And then what I'm going to do is just start rolling them up into a salmon rosette. You want to roll it up very loosely so that the salmon sort of falls apart on the plate and not too tightly. Alright, so just place it on the board. There we go, just like this. Looking great. Perfect. Okay, so now just take a little bit of grated radish. Again, I grated this on a cheese grater and left it for half an hour inside some water. Okay, then I'm going to take my seared tuna slices and lay it up against the cucumber slices, just like so. Then I'm going to take a lemon, slice it in half, and then at a 45-degree angle to the center line, I'm going to slice some very thin slices, about 1 to 2 millimeters thick. I don't need many, about 10 to 15 slices will do, just like so. Then I'm just going to spread them out in a diagonal line, and this just adds a little bit of life to the plate, a nice extra color, and just makes it look a little bit more fresh. So just lay it up against the tuna. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm just going to take 2 little leaves of lettuce and place them on the board in between the salmon and the cucumber. And then I'm going to add some shredded cucumber. Again, I shredded this with a cheese grater and left it in water for half an hour. And now I'm going to place my tuna sashimi slices up against my shredded cucumber. Okay, so here I've taken avocado, peeled it and sliced it into thin slices. And now I'm just going to spread them out evenly and then place the knife underneath it and curl it up into a cone shape. You want to be very careful with this because avocado is very, very delicate when it's on its own. And to shape it, you might need to use your fingers just like this. There we go, nearly there. Okay, so once it's inside a cone shape, more or less like this, it's very delicate. So pick it up by putting your finger inside and then transfer it over to your platter. And now you place it down next to the lemon. And what you want to do is add a little bit of sturgeon caviar. This is delicious stuff and it's quite expensive, but it adds something nice to the plate. This is real sturgeon caviar from Rio Frio. I also use this inside the Millionaire Sushi Roll. You can check that out by clicking on the link on the top left corner of your screen right now, if you haven't seen that video. Now I'm just going to add some pickled ginger, just like this. You always need pickled ginger with sushi. And now I'm just going to add a little wasabi flour. This is just a little piece of wasabi paste with cuts into it. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little bit of chives on every single slice of the tuna sashimi. This just adds a little extra touch, a little bit more color, a little bit more vivid presentation. It's all about what you see and then what you taste. So this just adds a little something. Okay, so there we go. Sushi platter done. So there we go. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more sashimi videos, hit the thumbs up or like button down there somewhere. Hell, just hit the like button anyway. You know, it helps me out. Okay, so if you want to get the same plate that I used inside this video, it's an awesome plate. I think it's actually a cutting board, but whatever. You can check it out by clicking on the bottom left corner of your screen. It ships worldwide and there's also a place to buy it in Europe. So check it out. I get a small commission from everyone sold, so it helps me out and you get an awesome plate. Okay, so check out all my other videos by clicking on the right now and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the top left corner of your screen. Thanks for watching. I'm Chef Devo. See you next week.